Terrorism knows neither peace, nor conflict, nor borders. Terrorist networks often have members in various countries, use social media to coordinate their actions, and move their financial resources across borders to support their activities. The transnational activities and impact of terrorism networks make successful prosecutions both demanding and difficult. In order to support and complement existing work and initiatives, the Global Counter-Terrorism Forum, GCTF, has developed the Abuja Recommendations on the collection, use, and sharing of evidence for the purposes of criminal prosecution of terrorist suspects. These recommendations set guidelines for cross-border cooperation and evidence gathering to address alleged terrorism-related offences. How can states, investigators, and prosecutors approach the preparation of transnational terrorism cases? As in any other criminal case, strong and admissible evidence is indispensable for determining the what, who, and how of a crime. In cases concerning transnational terrorism, however, access to such evidence can be challenging. Sometimes the evidence is in a foreign language or hard to access due to lack of collaboration, or it can be classified or technically complex. When located in a conflict or post-conflict zone, evidence may be even more difficult to retrieve. Multilateral state cooperation, mutual legal assistance mechanisms, and reliance on organizations such as Interpol and Europol can play a central role in alleviating these challenges. However, during conflict and post-conflict situations, multilateral cooperation and mutual legal assistance may not be as effective or at all possible. In such circumstances, because of their presence on the battlefield, military personnel may be able to contribute to the collection of relevant information that can be used as evidence in court. On what type of evidence can investigators and prosecutors rely? The most widely recognized type of evidence used for prosecuting terrorist suspects is forensic evidence, based on a scientific method of data collection and analysis. This evidence generally includes the biometric data of offenders. Electronic evidence is becoming increasingly important, as terrorist networks now largely rely on electronic means of communication. Electronic evidence, however, is often time-sensitive, easy to modify, damage, or destroy. Adopting cyber-specific investigative tools is thus required, as well as developing clear procedures to secure relevant digital information from private partners. Any such tools and procedures must comply with the applicable legal protections of personal data and the right to privacy. Criminal investigators can also rely on intelligence information. In respect of intelligence information, it is recommended that states consider establishing such mechanisms that turn intelligence into usable evidence in court, taking into account the specifics of the legal system. Another type of evidence that can be quite helpful is information collected by the military in conflict and post-conflict situations, so termed military evidence. As post-conflict areas recover from the often devastating effects of war, securing evidence from the battlefield in still high-risk and chaotic circumstances can be very difficult. Safeguarding the chain of custody can pose an additional challenge, as military personnel are not normally trained to collect evidence in the same way as criminal justice actors. Any potential impact on the chain of custody can be alleviated by clear guidance on evidence collection and strict chronological documentation of the whereabouts of the evidence and the persons involved. What is the role for witnesses? When using testimony in terrorism trials, it may be helpful to rely on expert witnesses who can clarify and elaborate on the evidence. Other witnesses may include people who have seen the crimes being committed, victims, or even the families of those allegedly involved in criminal activities. Courts should take into consideration the vulnerability of these witnesses and adopt tailored approaches respecting international fair trial standards. The GCTF urges that the Abuja recommendations are implemented in conformity with international law. For more detailed information and for the full text of the Abuja recommendations on the collection, use, and sharing of evidence for the purposes of criminal prosecution of terrorist suspects, please visit www.thegctf.org.